All right, welcome to the sports segment. I'm Benedict Owusu. It's a Friday morning, major European leagues back. My colleague Sevin Saki also back on the program, and we're going to go through for you this morning. So we first started on the local scene, and a member of the Ghana Football Association Normalization Committee, lawyer Diadonton, has reacted to talks that the committee is keen on seeking for an extension. Now, the four-member team have been tasked by FIFA to run the affairs of the Football Association as well as review the statute for a period of 6 months. And after a month in office, many feel the members will not be able to meet the deadline, hence ask for an extension. But Kofi Diadonton says they are determined to finish their work by the set deadline.
Certainly, we are determined to go on course up to the mandate period that we have been assigned. Everything that we are doing will reach the apex by March, and then when the elections are organized or conducted, then we would have become functus officio, so that which means our job would have been done. So we, as I said, we are very much determined to go on that course. If in the course of time we come across some bottlenecks and so on, or challenges, that is why we are there, to face the challenges and resolve them and overcome, and then proceed as we must proceed. So we are determined to go on course and finish by the mandate period.
All right, so the committee will meet Premier and Division 1 clubs today at the Alisa Hotel to familiarize with the club owners as part of efforts to develop a roadmap for the game. Now, Chairman Dr. Kofi Amoah says one of their key priorities is to ensure we start playing football in the country.
We've met with Galka. Everybody wants to start playing football again. We don't think the players should be punished unnecessarily for too long. Let me say this. What we are thinking is a novel competition. And until we raise the money that we think we need to make it do, I don't want to talk too much about it. But the bottom line is that if you look at the cost that a club has to incur to participate in a league, and if the prize monies laid in there really fall short to the cost of participation, we are impoverishing our clubs, and therefore we have to start thinking of what magnets can we think of to bring into football. Number one, to increase attendance at the venue places where the matches have been played, to improve viewership on television, to practice the game in a way that makes it interesting for a potential sponsor. We've been going around talking to potential sponsors, and we are listening to what they are saying. Our football at this particular moment is not viewed as something positive. And the corporate world don't want to be associated with anything that's not positive.
Well, so two of the members of the Normalization Committee yesterday were at the Ghanaman Soccer Center of Excellence in Pram to visit the Black Queens as well as the Black Maidens. The Black Queens are preparing for the start of this year's African Women's Championship, which will be staged here in Ghana, and that competition will start next month. Also, for the Black Maidens, they are preparing for the FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup, which will be staged in Uruguay, also happening next month. So, away from the Normalization Committee, Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Black Stars captain Asamoah Gyan's company Paradise Park Mineral Water have signed a sponsorship deal. Here's a report by Joy Sports Moses Yeboah.
A subsidiary of the Babyjet Investment has signed a 2-year sponsorship deal worth 360,000 cedis with the Kumasi Asante Kotoko Football Club. More than 240,000 cedis worth of the package will come in the form of cash to the club. The team in return will advertise the product on their jerseys and other avenues. President of Babyjet Investment and captain of the Black Stars, Asamoah Gyan, reveals aside the benefit his product is expected to gain, his love for the club is part of the reasons for the package.
Since day one, Kotoka has been my club. You know, everybody knows about it. And, as a household name, as an icon in this country, I'm here to give back to the community. And our main focus is to come to Kumasi.
He reveals plans to play for the club before he retires from football.
And also, I've made a promise to all the people in Kumasi that before I call it a day, I'll make sure I wear the red shirt.
Meanwhile, officials of the club says the new sponsorship, which starts from beginning of November, will propel the team for future competitions. George Amwakong is head of the management team.
I think so far in the annals of Kotoko, this is about the best water suppliers partnership we've obtained. This contract is slated for an initial 2-year term, and we hope that from the experience we had with the previous sponsor, we hope that we'll move forward over and beyond the 2 years we are signing initially.
All right, so a huge sponsorship deal between Kumasi Asante Kotoko and Black Stars captain Asamoah's company, that's Paradise Park Mineral Water. Some boxing bout is happening this weekend. Involved in the bout is Asamoah's boxer, that's Tego, Emmanuel Tego. But before that, Dogbe also made an announcement, and Selwyn will tell us about that.
Well, certainly. So, in junior featherweight world titleist Isaac Dogbe is in a New York state of mind. The Royal Storm will still make a second title defense against Emmanuel Navarrete on December 8th at the Hulu Theater at Madison Square Garden in New York. We'll hear from Isaac Dogbe.
I'm filled with joy. You know, every time the fight is announced, I just get so much happiness just bubbling up inside of me. You know, because this is a time that it's time for us to go to war, because you know, Navarrete is a strong guy. You know, he's rated across all the major sanctioning bodies. He's a knockout specialist. I think he's had about 26 fights, 22 KOs. You know, lost just one or something. So you can tell now we've gotten to that level where everyone is a knockout specialist. Everybody is looking for something, and it can't get any better than that. You know, and we are fighting at the Big Apple, Madison Square Garden, you know, live on ESPN. It cannot get better than this. Sometimes we say strength supersedes power, and sometimes strength will have to bow down to wisdom. You know, he's tough. He comes to fight. I also like to fight. You know, I can also knock him out. He can also knock me out. It's a 50-50 affair. This is what TV likes to see. He's young like myself, you know, so it's just going to be a great fight. I'm really looking forward to it, because I know that the people of New York City, they're in for a treat. You know, the whole world is in for a treat. And look, like we said, every time we step in the ring, we know that it's a life and death situation. We give up our souls to God, because we know that this is the battlefield. We are in war, and right now, you know, I feel, you know, the warrior spirit coming up. You know, it's just bubbling up inside me. So I'm just waiting. I can't wait for December 8th. You know, New York City at the Big Apple to put on a spectacular show for the people. You know, and for the world of boxing. No.
Isaac Dogbe there. Now, Asamoah's boxer Emmanuel Tego will take Moses Paulus from Namibia in a WBO lightweight contest tomorrow here in Accra. Asamoah has been speaking ahead of Saturday's bout.
What I would say is the Baby Jets promotion, I think most of you agree with me, most of you will not. But what I would say is Baby Jet promotion has revived Ghana boxing. But what I know about Game Boy didn't fight in the amateur boxing. Nobody knew how he came into the boxing scene. So, me working with him, I know this boy is blessed. He's got talent. Nobody, and I think all the coaches in boxing agree with me. Everybody knows Game Boy didn't fight in the amateur level, right? But I'm giving you a brief that Game Boy has trained so well for this fight. He has trained so well. And I don't have any doubt in my mind that anything negative is going to happen. I can assure you Game Boy is going to win this fight. Paulus Moses, I've watched him because I'm also a big fan of boxing, and I follow boxing a lot. I've watched him. Very, very dangerous fighter. He brings everything. He's got heart. You know, the way he was speaking, you could see he gives everything. He does everything with passion. And that is Paulus Moses. I respect him a lot. He's a great champion from Namibia. And boxers from Namibia, you should expect something dangerous. And
but no Game Boy side.
Yes. So it makes the fight very, very exciting.
All right, so that was Sasamaja, and we'll see how that will go tomorrow. That's a Game Boy up against Moses Paulus. Well, the major European leagues back after the international break, and English Premier League matches will be played. Obviously, the top liner this weekend will be the early kickoff tomorrow, where we will have Chelsea. They will take on Manchester United. So Selwyn will take us through the fixtures for this weekend.
Well, rightly so, and lots of mouth-watering fixtures. Chelsea against Manchester United at Stamford Bridge starts. Then Manchester City versus Burnley to try and continue to win the league. West Ham will play against Tottenham. That's a London derby. Newcastle versus Brighton. Bournemouth will be playing the Southampton at the South End derby. Wolves versus Watford. Cardiff versus Fulham. Huddersfield going against Liverpool. Everton against Crystal Palace. Then on Monday, Arsenal go head-to-head with Leicester.
And so, before the Manchester United, there was Newcastle game 2 weeks ago.
Right.
It was sacked, get win or get sacked.
Exactly.
It's the same as the game that we're going to see on that's tomorrow.
Well, every day as a Manchester United manager, there's so much pressure, and then going back to Stamford Bridge, Jose Mourinho against his club, there's still more pressure. I mean, it's not going to be something that are going to take a decision with this game. It will be too difficult for the board to take a decision on him if he's supposed to lose this match. I think it's an open game. They know that definitely whether Man United will form or not, Chelsea is a big fixture. So maybe games after that, if Mourinho still came with that same attitude and poor performances with his players, that is when his job could be in question. But with this game, I doubt it will be.
But can Manchester United genuinely get a win at Stamford Bridge?
Well, at the moment, form-wise, you can never say that because Chelsea are on some staggering form, and with the games that they played with Liverpool. And if you look at the two teams, Manchester United and Liverpool, you know that Liverpool has the upper hand. And the way Chelsea have been able to handle these teams, you can tell that United are in big trouble against Chelsea.
All right, so let's briefly talk about the Italian Serie A. What are we to expect this weekend there?
Well, of course, and you're going to start with Roma against Spal. Juventus is also going to go again with Genoa. Udinese versus Napoli. Frosinone against Empoli. And then Parma versus Lazio. Chievo Verona against Atalanta. Bologna, Torino. Fiorentina versus Cagliari. Inter Milan are going with AC Milan. That's the Milan derby over there. Then Sampdoria, Sassuolo on Monday.
All right, so there's a derby della Madonnina. That's the derby between Inter Milan and AC Milan. Kuja Samoa expected to play a part in that game. Well, in the Spanish La Liga, we see if finally the two top teams there, Real Madrid, Barcelona, will return to winning ways after the international break. Which teams are they meeting and which other fixtures are we to expect?
Well, of course, Real Madrid is going to play against Levante on Saturday, Barcelona against Sevilla. Then we also go with Celta Vigo versus Alaves. Valencia will be playing against Leganes. Villarreal, Atletico Madrid, a tough game over there. Rayo Vallecano, Getafe. Eibar versus Atletico Bilbao. Huesca, Espanyol. Real Betis versus Real Valladolid. Then on Monday, Real Sociedad versus Girona.
And is it going to be a weekend where we'll see most of the top European teams return to winning ways? You know, it was been difficult moments for some of them. Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Barcelona, well, Borussia Dortmund, they've been winning. But other top teams in Europe have been struggling. And you see this weekend to be a weekend where most of them will get good results.
Well, definitely, we are hoping so. After the international break, we'll be hoping that the big teams will be getting their cool heads now. But then it's still very difficult. I'm sure the younger or the lower teams are also going to be up in their ante and hoping that they're going to give these big teams a tough competition. It's never too late for them to come back, but then it's still going to be a tough weekend for them.
All right, so we'll see how we'll go in the major European leagues this weekend. Lots of games to expect. Monday, God willing, will be here. Myself and Selwyn will be here to bring you more in terms of everything that will happen this weekend. I'm Benedict Usu, Selwyn Saki. Join me. We are back on Monday. Until then, enjoy the rest of our programs here on this channel.